It was the middle of February in Durant, Oklahoma, and I was 18 years old, and I was yeah. It's time for junior church, y'all. I tell you what. Thanks, Kevin. Have fun, guys. I know you have a good time. You probably won't have as much fun as I do, but that's all right. And it was February in Oklahoma, cold, and the wind was blowing, and it was just warm enough that the rain was not freezing, and it was just raining enough that it was miserable. And I was out for spring ball at Southeastern Oklahoma State University trying to make the football team, and man, I was just not the physical equal of most of the other people who were trying to be on the football team, to say the least. Have you ever seen Rudy, right? It's just like really small time football, but like that. I was a well-intentioned, tackling dummy. And I was trying to be a running back. And it was my time to be up, and on offense, it was a straightforward play, and they were going to hand me the ball, and I was going to run. And in my nervous tension and trying to get everything right, and just all my stress, I went to the wrong side, and I remember I was supposed to go right, and I went left. And man, Coach Morris was a big, scary guy, really nice, let me have it pretty soundly, and appropriately given the circumstances and all that. But in the middle of him letting me have it, I heard, he did not say it, so I don't want to paint Coach Morris. He was a great guy. I don't want to say anything bad about him. But because of my own stuff, what I heard, the message I took away, because sometimes when people say stuff to us, we hear what's going on in our own head, right? That's a whole sermon. We could just do that, but that's not the sermon we're going to do. You're a waste of my time. And that's what I took away from that moment. And let me tell you something. I had coaches yell at me before. I didn't care. It's not a big deal. But because I latched a hold of that idea, man, boy, it got me. And there's a lot of ways that people can mess with you, and life can mess with you. But to hear that you are hopeless, that I give up on you, because you're a waste of my time because you're hopeless. I think it's one of the most painful things for me, at least, that I could take away from something. And this morning, we're going to start in Genesis. We're going to do the first 11 chapters of Genesis. Genesis is going to take us from Easter to Pentecost. And so I'm going to do what's called the primordial history of Genesis. And then this morning, I want to look at Genesis in light of Easter, and especially Genesis 1 this morning. And I want to put them together. And what I want us to do is to see that God hadn't given up on us. And he hadn't said, nah, you're hopeless. Sometimes we can feel like as humanity that way. Sometimes if you watch the news, you might feel that way all the time. Quit it. And we might feel that way as individuals too. So that's where I'm going. There's so many things. I could preach easily 4 distinct sermons out of Genesis 1 because there's so much in there. But this is the one I want to talk about this morning. This is the one I want to preach. So Genesis 1, in light of Easter. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth, 6 days,